Back in Chicago with Doug Collins and Isaiah Thomas. Bob Costas will be joined shortly by Ahmad Rashad, but first, a look at the starting lineups. Rice and Mason at the forwards, identified by everybody as the keys to this series for the Hornets. Divac at center. Matt Geiger, nursing a hamstring pull, might be available. We'll have to see. Phils and Wesley in the backcourt, and Phils will play Michael defensively quite a bit. And the usual lineup in the absence of Luke Longley, who is dressed but hasn't played yet in the playoffs. Rodman at center. Let's go to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. I talked to Michael before the game. He says that they're a little leery about this Charlotte Hornets team because they don't feel that familiar with them. Now, in terms of Isaiah talking about who's going to stop Michael Jordan, Michael says Bobby Phills has done a good job against him in years past, even when he's with Cleveland. He said because he's a very physical player and also has the ability to make Michael work at the defensive end. Now, the biggest matchup, he thought, was with David Wesley. He said that's the guy that can really break him down with all that penetration. That assignment will go to Ron Harper. And one other thing, Luke Longley, who's been suffering with a bruised knee, is available to play tonight, so we should see him. Bob?
Ahmad, thanks. They were able to get by the Nets in 3 straight, even with the presence of Jason Williams, without Luke Longley. If they advance as expected past Charlotte, and especially if Indiana beats the Knicks in the next round, they would really need Longley against Rick Smits.
Bob, one thing to look at early in this game, I think from Charlotte's standpoint mentally, I've always felt like if you come off a series with a big road win like they did to close Atlanta out, that first game in the next series is a game that you might be able to steal early. Their mindset in this game, Isaiah, I think is going to be vitally important.
Yes, it is. And when we talked to Dave Cowens, he told us that they'll probably use this game 1 as a game to experiment with because they didn't really get enough time to prepare for the Chicago Bulls.
Is there ever enough time to prepare for the defending champions? Mason will handle it alive. Divac poked away by Kukoc into the hands of Harper. Tony's open. It spins out. Rodman backpedaling against Mason. Rice, head fake, jumper, got it.
Great sign for Charlotte. You're going to see Anthony Mason initiate the offense, try to get the Bulls defenders, Pippen and Jordan, out of the play. Great pass to Glenn Rice for the open jumper.
Michael's first touch, his first shot, but not his first basket. Here comes Wesley accelerating. And the jumper is there for Phils, who fills it up.
Now, that's what Wesley will look to do all night long. He wants to take Harper off the dribble, get into the lane, penetrate, and free up easy shots for the perimeter players.
After the 3, it's 5-0 Hornets. Pippen driving on Rice. And it spins out off the glass. Divac flings it ahead to Wesley. Pulls up on Harper. And Michael's there to clear it.
I like the fact that Charlotte's looking for their early offense, Bob. Not getting into a half-court game against the Bulls. I think that would be a mistake. Get shots early against the clock. They'll have more success.
Pippen thought about a 3. Now it's Michael. Spinning, shooting over Wesley, and there's his first basket.
Jordan is so tough with his back to the basket. When he dribbles down and he penetrates and he puts his back on you, he's able to shoot that little fadeaway over Fields. Fields is going to have to body him and keep him away from the basket.
Michael at 16 of 22 in the Game 3 clincher at New Jersey, rediscovering his previously lost jump shot. Mason kicks it back out, and Wesley has daylight. It's short, and Kukoc takes the rebound.
Against Chicago, you're going to have to make the perimeter shot. They're going to help down on Anthony Mason. That'll create good shots for Wesley.
Pass intended for Rodman from Harper, stolen by Divac. They come back quickly, but they throw it away. Wesley's pass eluding Phils. When you think about Charlotte's possibilities for making this competitive and interesting, Dave Cowan's team has to capitalize on almost every opportunity. They have to shoot the ball especially well. They have to minimize turnovers. If they give them open jump shots, they've got to hit a high percentage of them. You got a chance to score in transition like that, 2-on-1. You can't blow too many of them. Here's Harper in the lane. Got a piece of it. And back come the Hornets.
David Wesley, a very underrated defender. He's very, very strong, and I think at some point in this game, you'll see him guard Michael Jordan.
Doug, when you talk about Wesley's strength, they measured his chest size at 52 inches, 1 inch more than Anthony Mason's.
Pumping some iron there. After the air ball, back comes Chicago. Divac having missed badly. Kukoc passes up the three. Michael baseline. And the rebound to Mason. Chicago's just 1 of 6 from the floor. Michael 1 of 3. He has their only basket. They trail it 5-2.
Now you see Mason handling the ball under the perimeter. Dave Cowens told us that he's probably their best passer off the perimeter and setting people up for layups.
Rice in the lane. The Bulls and the crowd thought he traveled. Wesley cans the three.
Remember now, in the second round last year, Chicago, the first 2 games at home against Atlanta, really struggled. Atlanta had game 1. The Bulls came back and won it. Then Atlanta won game 2, the only loss in the playoffs all last year for Chicago.
Pippen exploding to the basket with the left hand. Backing in, then back out with a jumper by Wesley that's good. Well, they're giving him that perimeter shot, and he's hit the last 2. One of them a 3.
Wesley has had a lot of success against the Chicago Bulls. He averaged 18 points against them throughout the course of the regular season.
Pippen slithers inside, but a whistle.
Offensive foul on Scottie Pippen. He hooked Glenn Rice as he tried to go around him in the post, but here's what's occurring. Vlade Divac is getting the double team. Wesley working right in behind the ball against the vision of the defender. Spotting up, hits his second three-pointer in this first quarter.
First foul on Pippen. Bill Oakes, Ronnie Nunn, and Greg Willard are the officials.
Now they're trying to keep the ball in Vlade's hands, being guarded by Kukoc.
Rice's shot is short, but Divac takes it back. Fills for 3. Got it.
Not an accident now. Charlotte, one of the best shooting teams in the NBA.
A pair of threes in this first quarter for Bobby Phills. Part of the reason why Charlotte got Phills was to have him guard Jordan. His offense is a plus. Quick start for the Hornets, buzzing to a 13-4 lead against a team that is 22-1 at home over the last 2+ seasons in the playoffs. They had a home loss to the Hawks last year. 10-0 in '96, 10-1 last year. This is on the United Center court, and 2 wins here against the Nets in this year's playoffs. Kukoc behind the Rodman screen. And a quick Chicago basket after the timeout.
That shot will be there for Tony Kukoc because Mason really does not want to get out and defend that far out on the floor. He likes to play in the paint.
Bobby Phills thought about shooting it, and they made him change it, and he alertly dumps it off to Divac for the lay-in. Michael looking for room. Quick pass to the cutting Rodman, who lost it out of bounds. He was bumped a bit, but no call.
Rodman's really not an offensive player, so a lot of times when he cuts to the basket, he's really not looking for the ball to score.
You can see the philosophy. Go inside to Divac. Run your offense through him.
Wesley from Divac around Pippen into the lane. Rice, 3 on the 24. Had to force it on the run, and Michael got a piece of it. Harper's open. Michael takes it himself, and Wesley fouled him.
That was a smart foul by David Wesley.
Yeah, no basket before the shot.
He fouled him out on the perimeter to stop Jordan from getting one of those electrifying dunks that could ignite the crowd and ignite his teammates. Wesley did the smart thing right there.
The guy who can't take those fouls is Bobby Phills. He must stay on the floor. He's really the only guy I think that can play against Michael. Maybe Glenn Rice a little bit, but Phills has got to play him the majority of the time.
Mason on Kukoc. He's much stronger than Tony. Pippen 5 seconds to shoot. Harper will. Way off with the 3. And Phils had Pippen boxed out. You try saying that. Wesley walks it into the front court. Divac can't hang on to it.
Got to get a better angle to make that pass into the post. Bobby Phils was right even with Vlade Divac. You got to get the passing angle so when he ducks in there, you can give him the pass away from the defender.
Harper from Pippen with the spin and the tip to Rodman. Rodman, whose rebounding title this year was his 7th in succession, 15 boards a game, gets both a rebound and a basket. Rice, baseline jumper, is there for him.
You can see the Bulls' philosophy, though, Bob. They're running at Glenn Rice, chasing him off the shot, making him put the ball out on the floor.
Michael in a crowd, long with it, and Divac wins the board battle with Rodman. Good first quarter so far for Vlade. Mason is open. Kukoc collects the carom. Pippen backs away. 3 seconds to shoot. Pippen got it back, beats the buzzer, and it's a 24-second violation because it came off the glass and didn't get any part of the rim.
Chicago appears to be out of rhythm on their offense. The spacing is poor. The shot clock's running down. They're taking too much time. They appear to be out of rhythm on their offense. And when you look at the Charlotte Hornets coming off a series, they're playing really well. No game plan. They're just coming in, playing basketball right now, and the coach is really happy.
So Charlotte jumps out to a 17-8 lead. Throughout the playoffs, at least to this point, almost all the lower seeds have been competitive. In some cases, very competitive. We'll be right back. You know, you think about these playoffs, the 7 seed, the Knicks, beats Miami. The 8 seed, Houston, takes the 1 seed, Utah, to the 5th and deciding game, as does the 7 seed, Minnesota, against the 2 seed, Seattle, yesterday. Even the Nets, although they were swept, very competitive in the first 2 games, at least, here in Chicago. Phil's firing one and hitting after the timeout.
That's a real problem, Bob. When you have to go back and double-team Mason, they've surrounded him now with 3 terrific three-point shooters, Wesley, Phils, and Glenn Rice. So when you help back, you're going to give up that perimeter shot. Charlotte's banging it in right now.
His foot was just on the line. It's a 2-point basket. Pippen back, misses with the left hand. Rodman battling to keep it alive, and play is whistled to a stop. So here are the Hornets, who come out of the 4-5 matchup with Atlanta to take on the number 1 seed, the Bulls, and leading 19-8.
All their offense being initiated through Anthony Mason, either at the top or on the baseline where he backs his guy down, gets the double team, and forces the help.
Pippen's 3 is short, but the rebound line drives to Michael. The last foul was on Divac, his first. Phil's on Michael. Kukoc for 3. Wesley comes out of the backcourt. Cut off by Rodman. Rice against Pippen. And now Wesley. Kukoc has him on a switch. Harper's on Divac consequently. And Kukoc reaches in with long arms and bats it away.
2 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Michael from 20. It's long. Scotty has it. Michael for 3. That's better.
What happens when you give up those multiple shots, though? The Bulls, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league, and although they're shooting a poor percentage right now, the offensive rebounds are getting the extra shots to them.
With the line moved back, Michael is no longer much of a three-point shooter. But if you give him an invitation to shoot it, that wide open, he will. Rice, tough shot.
How about the patience of Glenn Rice? Took his time, waited for the screen, squared up on the shot, nailed it. It's 2 shots in a row that he's made where he's been extremely patient on his jump shot with the pump fakes.
Michael almost lost it. Pittman against Fields with the hook over him. 4 for Scotty as Divac and Rodman jostle a little bit. And the official, Ronnie Nunn, had a couple of words for Rodman saying, come on, let's go, let's play ball. Kukoc picks up his first foul.
Off the loose ball, whenever you give Michael Jordan a second attempt and a second look at it, 9 times out of 10, he's going to knock that shot down. Now watch the patience of Glenn Rice. Waits for the screen, gets his feet squared. Look at the rotation on the ball, shoots it right in the hole.
When Glenn Rice comes off that screen, though, he has got to be trapped immediately. He is the most beautiful shooter in the NBA, and Kukoc has got to get out there and chase him off that shot.
Here's a big moment in these playoffs for the Bulls. Luke Longley makes his first appearance. Here's Wesley into the lane with a finger roll.
Game plan. The minute Steve Kerr comes into the game, go at him defensively. Make Phil Jackson get him out of the game. They're concerned with his three-point shooting.
Kerr to Jordan. Michael on the drive. Had it knocked away, and he was fouled.
Once again, the game plan. Go right at Steve Kerr, make him guard, try to get him out of the game. You see the strength of David Wesley, the little shoulder there, knock Steve Kerr back on his heels, the spin, and the nice finish.
Jordan, who practically lived at the line in the New Jersey series. And you can go online to msnbcsports.com for complete NBA playoff coverage. Email Bill Walton your questions on key matchups and strategy, or anything else of cosmic significance, and click on NBA Showtime video features, game previews, analysis, and commentary, all at msnbcsports.com. Imagine a wide open opportunity to email Bill Walton to your heart's content. Michael makes them both.
You know what the first message he's going to send back to you is? That's terrible.
That's just terrible. How can you do that in the playoffs? The Hornet lead is 8. Mason. Out to B.J. Armstrong, the former Bull. Shoots it long just as the shot clock expires. About 5 seconds to get off the quarter's final shot. Rodman from inside half court. And after one, it's the Hornets leading it 23-15. Bobby Phills with 8 of those first quarter points. Michael led the Bulls with 7. As the second period begins, Scott Burrell, the former Hornet, will throw it in for Chicago. Burrell had a big game 3 against New Jersey with 23 points. So they got Burrell, Jordan, Kerr, Rodman, and Longley on the floor right now.
I think Scott Burrell is sort of the X factor for Chicago. He can blow hot real quickly, as you talked about.
Longley misses his first shot. He missed the last 24 games because of a deep bone bruise on his left knee. This is his first playoff appearance. Divac left alone. Gets the roll from the head of the key.
Again, B.J. Armstrong attacking Steve Kerr, getting into the lane, dishing it out to Vlade. Dave Cowan told us that he let B.J. Armstrong walk him through the Bulls triangle offense to show him all the tricks of the trade.
Burrell His pass to Longley goes through his hands, and it's possible that Luke is not game sharp.
Yeah, Phil Jackson was concerned about that. That's why he didn't start him. He didn't think that Luke was ready to play and get his rhythm back. He thought coming out and playing in a game one such as this that he'd be a little rusty, and it's showing.
Off the Rice miss, he gets his own rebound. B.J. Armstrong. Inside to Mason. And Mason will come to the foul line.
Here's Luke Longley. Let's take a look here at what happens on this penetration. Now, you're going to see where he goes. And if we stop it right there, look where Luke Longley is. And here it is, Vlade Divac. He loves to shoot this shot. Wide open, and he knocks it down.
Mason hits the first. He shot 64% from the floor in the 3-1 first-round victory over Atlanta, but hit only 12 of 24, 50% at the free throw line. Very unorthodox style, as you see. Misses the second one. Lane violation, though.
See, Bob, this is one of my pet peeves or whatever. I mean, with Anthony Mason doing this, I mean, he's almost giving himself another shot because you know you're going to violate because he hesitates up there. Both guys go in the line. I think it should just be a loss of possession. You take the ball out of bounds. Because you see this about 75% of the time when Mason shoots a free throw.
So he got a second chance, but he couldn't convert that either. Michael from Rodman, short. And Jordan starts game one cold. Longley guarding Mason. He spins on him and loses it, but he was fouled. B.J. Armstrong appears to be on his way to getting more minutes than he usually has this year for the Hornets. He was once a 15-point-a-game scorer. This year only 4 or 5 a game, and deep down in their rotation. Perhaps his knowledge of the Bulls is part of Dave Cowan's thinking here.
Well, also, too, remember they had Vernon Maxwell who played a lot of those minutes this year, and he's no longer on the team. So somebody's got to step in and play those minutes, and VJ will be the guy in this series probably, Bob.
Doug, this Charlotte team is a very deep team offensively. They have so many weapons. When you look at Anthony Mason, who's going to the free throw line right now, this is only his 3rd shot attempt in trying to get to the basket. They've got Rice in the game. They've got Vlade Divac into the game. The penetration of B.J. Armstrong, and with Wesley, they've gotten their whole bench involved in the game.
Again, a chance to study the Mason free throw form. Huge game 4. That was the clincher. Not only the 29 points, but 14 rebounds.
Well, he took over that game. It was tied, I think, at 74 all. He scored the next 6 points against the defensive player of the year in Dikembe Mutombo, and that really sealed that game and got them into the next round against the Bulls.
I mean, they have 3 explosive offensive players in Glenn Rice, Dell Curry, and Anthony Mason. On any given night, either one of those gentlemen can step up and get you 30 points.
After a brief stint in the game, Longley is out. At least he broke a sweat. They'll work him in slowly. Kukoc is back in. And a whistle as Michael makes his move. 9:53 to play in the second. And it's the Hornets by 13. Charlotte comes out and grabs a 28-15 lead. I guess there's 2 ways to look at it. You've got the veteran Bulls rested. You've got Charlotte rushed into this series. On the other hand, maybe they carry some momentum and some sharpness from having played in a competitive situation more recently.
But when you come off a series and you catch a team that's been rested for 3 or 4 days in the first quarter, you definitely have the advantage because your competitive spirit is higher than the home team or the team that's been rested.
Burrell missed the jumper. Back comes Charlotte. Del Curry on the floor for them for the first time. B.J. Armstrong's 3. Doesn't go. Loose ball battle. Diving for it is Curry, but as he tries to save it, it's in Michael's hands. Armstrong sprints back and intercepts the pass intended for Burrell. Armstrong against Kerr. Phils is open. Head fake on Kukoc. and then he misses the three. Quick outlet from Jordan, but again, Charlotte gets back, and a second consecutive Jordan pass is picked off. Mason. Phils gives it to J.R. Reed. And J.R. Reed tries to muscle it up and at least draws the foul.
I really like Charlotte's patience right now. They're going to spots. They're finding mismatches, forcing the Bulls to double team, and then they're swinging the ball around and finding the open man. Uncharacteristically, Michael here with 2 turnovers. He sort of floats a pass out for Tony Kukoc that's picked off. And here's the foul. J.R. Reed, the up and under on Tony Kukoc, so he'll shoot 2 free throws. That's 2 for Kukoc. J.R. Reed hardly recognizable at first glance now that his head has been shorn. Like the Pacers, the Hornets decided that everybody would go bald prior to the first round as a show of team unity. When you look at Vlade Divac and over in Indiana, Rick Smits, you realize this works better for some than it does for others. If I was Vlade, I'd say, hey, guys, you want team unity? You all come over to my house and I'll call out for pizza. We'll have a party.
But the ball head look is definitely not for everybody.
Burrell with a hook. He has really established himself in the last month and a half as one of the first options off Phil Jackson's bench.
Now what you'll see Chicago try to do here is when they're struggling offensively from the perimeter, Jordan will start driving the ball to the basket and they'll start trying to post up Burrell.
Mason's jumper is good.
See, Rodman can't defend his shot up high. Once he gets it up there and shoots it, he's not going to be able to bother. The only place Rodman can do is get him off the block and then maybe strip him as he tries to bring the ball up.
Pippen on the bench. Bulls down by 15. Jordan to the baseline for the slam.
Right on cue, Isaiah. Take it to the hoop, Michael.
9 for MJ. Takes it away from Mason. Burrell out of the corner. Hits the three. And as soon as the Bulls cut a 15-point deficit to 10, Dave Cowens tries to bring things to a halt before this goes any further.
Now the key to this surge is Michael's back cut. He gets it from Dennis Rodman and he fakes like he's going to the middle and goes baseline. The dunk ignites the crowd. Watch him fake, gives him the foot fake, goes baseline. Now here's Kukoc defending Mason. Traps Mason, holds the ball too long, gets out into transition, spots Burrell in the corner. Burrell has the confidence now, knocks down the three, but it all started with Michael Jordan's dunk shot.
I think it's very important when you play Chicago and they do get a little mini run and you get a lead. You use your timeouts wisely in this building. You don't let them get any kind of surge against you. Let's see how this timeout, where they go offensively to try to get a score.
It's Curry, quick catch and shoot, but it spins out. Rodman is there. Michael from Rodman. Had the change up, hit it, coming to the line.
Same play on the right side of the court. They ran it on the left side of the court. Now Rodman and Jordan come back and run the same exact play on the right side of the court.
3-point possibility, but first, this break. Seven unanswered points for Chicago. A 15-point deficit is down to 8. And Michael could chip another off here if he completes the 3-point play.
You can see what happened. Michael missed 5 of his first 7 shots, and Isaiah said, look for him to go to the basket. He gets a dunk, going to the basket, the next one a 3-point play. So Michael has that great ability when one thing's not working to go to plan B.
Bobby Phils in the lane to J.R. Reed, who may have traveled, and he did.
J.R. was open right in the middle of the lane. Bobby Phils had to hesitate because of the hand pressure. Gave J.R. the pass just a little too late, which consequently threw him off balance.
Dave Cowens is going to counter here with Glenn Rice, realizing they're struggling now offensively after they got off to a great start. Chicago has gone very small right now. Tony Kukoc actually the center on the floor, and they've really got 4 guards.
With Rodman out, Pippen's back in. Here's Scotty. Michael draws a double with Divac coming over for the help. It's Kerr with a 3. He's the all-time leader in three-point field goal percentage for his career.
What the Bulls are saying right now is, Vlade Divac, who are you going to guard? You're going to guard a quicker man on the perimeter? We're going to take the ball to you.
Divac swings it out to Phils. His three-pointer can't halt the Chicago run, which right now is at 11 zip. A whistle from Bill Oates and a Chicago foul. Offensive foul on Kukoc.
Watch Tony now move on this screen.
That sends him to the bench with his 3rd foul. He's replaced by Rodman, whose rest was brief. Still Charlotte ball.
You see the activity level of Chicago really picking up now. They're getting more frenetic on defense. They're forcing some turnovers. Charlotte now not getting the clean looks they got in that first quarter. And then the Bulls going down and doing a much better job executing their offense.
Rice from the head of the key. Divac the rebound and follow. And Charlotte still can't put an end to the Chicago streak. Kerr has room, but misses wide open. That doesn't happen often. Jordan gives them the fresh 24. His jumper. Pippen with the tip, trying to keep the ball alive. It's grabbed by Wesley and a Chicago foul. It's Pippen over the back, and it's his 2nd.
That was a great block out by Bobby Phils. Kept Pippen on his back. Pippen jumped over, got him for the offensive foul. Now, having Glenn Rice and Dale Curry in the game at the same time, you have 2 of the purest shooters in basketball out on the floor. They'll try to go to Vlade in the post, expect the Bulls to double team Vlade in the post, or go to Dale Curry in the post, attacking Steve Kerr.
Jordan sits, Simpkins in. Curry is open. Rodman has it. Suddenly the Hornets are ice cold.
Well, you've had your 2 best shooters miss 2 wide open looks.
Burrell. The 3 rattles in and out. It was halfway down. Rice will try it and overshoot it by plenty.
That was a bad shot that time by Glenn Rice. Bobby Phils was posted in the post against Steve Kerr. He should have punched it into Steve Kerr. He elected to take the 3.
And now Kerr misfires, but Pippen has it on the other end of the basket. Burrell, a 3, way off, air ball. Wesley lost it to Pippen. Back comes Chicago. Scotty, the pull-up 3. Got it! And they're within 1 after 14 unanswered points.
Scottie Pippen loves to do that. He loves to come down on transition. When that defense gets back, he loves to pull up and shoot that 3, especially to get this crowd back into the game. Charlotte really has lost their composure, have not been able to score, and Chicago's taken advantage of it.
The Hornets have gone 5 minutes now, not only without a field goal, but without scoring.
The long arms of Scottie Pippen with the steal. And then he pulls up on a 4-on-2 fast break and nails the 3.
A 15-point Charlotte lead has all but evaporated. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Charlotte still leads 32-31, shooting 2 for 11 this quarter, but Michael Jordan did not get his first rest tonight until the 4:44 mark of the second period. Michael being the anchor out there for that bench today to get them back into the game, and you can see his last game against the Nets, 16 for 22, missed only 6 shots. You see today he is 4 for 10, but he's made his last 2 shots going to the basket, trying to get some offense generated. He got a short rest of about 1 minute and 24 seconds, and he's right back out on the floor.
Doug, you can see by looking at his shot chart against New Jersey, he was very hot. He came out, tested his jump shot early in the game tonight, saw that his shot wasn't working, and elected to go inside.
Mason's pass knocked loose. Michael scoops it up, bounces to Pippen, and poking it away is Rice. Randy Brown has also come in off Phil Jackson's bench. He wears number 1, making his first appearance of the game. Bulls looking to take the lead after trailing by 15. It's Pippen, and it's short. Michael chases it down. Off the glass, and the Bulls are in front.
I watched Michael Jordan that whole series. He was so anxious because he had Dale Curry on him that he wanted to take him inside.
But a 3-pointer by Del Curry at the other end finally stops a 16-0 Chicago run.
Well, Charlotte really needs Del Curry to loosen that up from the outside. He's such a beautiful shooter.
Jordan answers at the other end.
See, Jordan feels that any time that Del Curry is guarding him, that's a free license for him to score.
16 for Michael. Tied at 35 and a blocking foul on Randy Brown of Chicago.
Watch the activity of Jordan. He catches it and he drives. He knows that Curry can't stay with him, and he passes it. Now watch as he works to get into the post because he senses that he has a liability in Curry.
Here's David Wesley. He's listed at 6'1". He appears to be a bit shorter than that, but he's solid as an oak. 205 pounds of muscle.
He had a very good series, too, against Atlanta. Really, the last ball game was key with those 10 assists.
And he converts them both.
You know, David Wesley was on that New Jersey team, and he backed up Kenny Anderson. And I remember Chuck Daly telling me to look out for this kid because he thought he would be a very good pro.
Jordan's turnaround in the lane is there.
Michael's in rhythm right now, Bob. After getting to the basket and get a couple easy ones, his jump shot now is flowing.
18 for him in this first half. Divac screening for Rice. Rodman gets up on it. Mason fade away in the lane. Simpkins got a piece of it, and a shot clock violation.
You see, Chicago has gotten interested in the game. The first quarter they came out, was out of rhythm. The timing was off. Now the second quarter, you can slowly see them start to pick up the pace, start to play better, and start to shoot the ball extremely.
Pippen. Michael. Phil's hand checking him. Michael backing him down for the turnaround. That misses.
See, it's hard right now. You need Glenn Rice to get involved in this game, and Michael Jordan's playing him now, who's the best defender in the league at his position, so it's going to be hard for Glenn Rice to shake loose of Michael.
5 on the shot clock. Bobby Phil's double teamed, and Pippen takes it away from him. Pippen back with Michael on his left. Pull up 3. Not this time. Bill Oakes blows his whistle as Divac grabs the rebound. It's on Simpkins of Chicago with 28 seconds to play in the half. Next weekend, the NBA playoffs continues, starting Saturday with showtime at 12:30 Eastern. Then a doubleheader, first game 3 of the Pacers and the Knicks. That'll be at Madison Square Garden, followed by game 3 of Utah. They'll be at San Antonio for that. And then Sunday, it's a triple header, beginning with showtime at noon, followed by game 4 of the Pacers and Knicks, game 4 of the Sonics and Lakers, and then game 4 of the Bulls and the Hornets. You want basketball? We got basketball on NBC.
In this second quarter, as Chicago has gotten very frisky on defense, Charlotte has gotten very careless with the ball. They've turned it over 7 times. So in that first quarter, when it was an open floor game, they were getting their early offense. It's become a half-court game now, and Chicago has swarmed them, and the turnovers have really been costly.
1 of 2 for Divac. We haven't seen Matt Geiger in this first half. Luke Longley is back on the floor, speaking of injured centers, for these last few seconds of the half for Chicago. Michael up with the jumper. That's off. Rice glances at the clock. Inside 5 seconds. Glenn Rice lunging from the corner, beats the buzzer but misses. Charlotte led at 1 point by 15. Michael, after a slow start, heating up in the second quarter. Part of a comeback by Chicago. They trail by only 1 at the half. Stay tuned for the Prudential halftime report after these messages. You're watching the NBA on NBC. Back in Chicago with Doug Collins and Isaiah Thomas. Bob Costa's back. Ahmad Rashad is also here. Charlotte went 5.5 minutes at one stretch in the second quarter without scoring. And even though they've got only a combined 11 points from the 2 guys you figured had to light it up for them to have a chance, Mason and Rice, they still have a 1-point lead. Here are the Miller Lite halftime stats.
Bob, it was really a tale of 2 quarters. A great start for Charlotte. They shot 56% in the first quarter, only 21% in the second. 11 turnovers that led to 16.7 in the second quarter. And you see Chicago got off to a woeful start, 6 for 24, finished 9 for 18. Michael kept him in the game, 7 for 15 shooting. The rest of his teammates were 8 for 27.
When you look at the Charlotte Hornets scoring, David Wesley is leading them with 9 points. But the thing they have to be really concerned about is Glenn Rice is only shooting 3 from 10 thus far. Now, Chicago, on the other hand, Michael Jordan has had great success against the Charlotte Hornet team. But the most important thing, other than the 18 points, is that he has 7 rebounds, and he's tied with Dennis Rodman right now.
Isaiah, in the first half, I thought Charlotte did an excellent job defensively, forced Chicago to take a lot of bad shots, but didn't come down and capitalize on it. Really, they should have about a 10 or 12-point lead right now, as good a defense as they play.
You know, in the playoffs, it's very important that you score in transition, and Charlotte blew a lot of easy opportunities early in the game.
Rodman from Harper as we begin the third quarter, and Dennis hits the reverse.
Vlade lost vision of the ball there, and Dennis just back-cut him.
And Chicago takes a 1-point lead. Neither team, as you see, shot particularly well in the first half. Divac against Kukoc. Now it's Rice. Overshot it, air ball, other side of the hoop to Mason.
Should be a shot clock.
Maybe a shot clock violation.
Absolutely. I don't know if I've ever seen Glenn Rice miss a shot that badly, Bob.
He is not having an especially good shooting night.
Well, you see Scotty runs at him. That was almost a curveball.
You know, when you watch that shot, the first 2 shots that Glenn Rice took, he had great patience. Showed the pump fake, went to the baseline, shot the little shot. This time, he didn't have the same patience, and he rushed it.
Well, what happens, and you know this, Isaiah, sometimes you get lost in the scheme of things, and then your shot comes, and you're a little bit too quick with it, rather than staying with that patience. I think they're going to have to run some of their offense to Glenn Rice. They're making such a conscious effort to go to their big people. You know, they've sort of lost Glenn Rice in this game, and he's vital. We've shown what their statistics are. When he averages 20 or more points in a game, they're 39 and 10. They're almost unbeatable.
Dave Cowan's argument may be that the horn never sounded. To indicate the 24-second violation. But the officials, after conferring, decide that that's what happened. Here comes Jordan. Banks it too hard. Rodman trying to keep it alive. And finally, Rice tumbles out of the pack in possession of the ball.
Michael looked like he tweaked his knee a little bit. I will have to watch. It looked like one of the players fell on his knee.
And Michael is wincing and hobbling just a little bit. In addition to all his other qualities, he has been virtually indestructible. Mason is fouled.
Bob, I think somebody fell into his leg. We'll have to see. But watch here. Oh, right there you can see Glenn Rice fell down on Michael's right leg and looked like he tweaked his knee a little bit.
Michael is a lot like Jim Brown used to be in football. He never wants to give the opposition the satisfaction of indicating that he's either tired or hurt. He tries to disguise it.
Here's again another look at that. Michael looked like he had a layup, just fumbled it. Goes back to the ball, and there's where Glenn Rice falls on his leg. Well, you can really get injured like that.
Meanwhile, a 3-second violation against Charlotte. Bulls back leading by 1. Divac takes Pippen on the switch. He goes around him and hits with the left hand.
Now you see Chicago attacking the basket, and the reason why they feel so confident driving is that when you look at Vlade and Anthony Mason, they're really not shot blockers.
Rice got by Pippen, banks it in.
See, I like this. They went 2 possessions in a row to Vlade, got nothing. This time, Glenn Rice, the primary guy, and he gets the score.
Michael against Phils, who fouled him. And now Rodman and Divac momentarily tangled.
Now, Rodman likes to box people in. He likes to push you up underneath the basket. Divac locked his arm, and Rodman just gives him a little shove. Jordan comes over and says, hey, Dennis, keep your cool. We're in the playoffs. We don't want anything to happen here that happened in New York with Miami. So just keep your cool.
See, interestingly enough, Rodman is emotionally detached when he does something like that. He infuriates the opponent. That's the problem. Dennis knows exactly what he's doing. It's like he's not emotional when he's doing something like that. He's sort of playing off your emotions.
So Rodman is one of the smartest players in the game, and he wants to get inside your head to get you to concentrate on the things that he's doing so you'll forget about the offensive plays and the defensive sets that you're supposed to be running.
1 of 2 for Jordan, who now has 19. David Wesley lost it. Pippen into the lane, lays it in.
How many times have we seen today where Charlotte turns the ball over and Chicago immediately comes back and makes them pay for it?
And the thing that made that play so successful is Dennis Rodman ran the court and put Vlade in a very difficult position.
Maybe Glenn Rice is beginning to find the range. The Hornets can only hope so.
Bob, you got to go to your scores. You got to go to Glenn Rice. You can't go through Vlade Divac. I don't think that matchup is as good for Charlotte as they think it is.
Jordan got it, +1. How quickly did he shake off the banged up knee?
But Michael Jordan understands how to score. But when you look at Glenn Rice, watch him as he moves without the basketball. He sets Scottie Pippen up, then he has the patience to take the little pump fake and then take his shot.
Michael completes the three-point play. He has 22. His career playoff scoring average is 33.6. That's the best ever. Jerry West is next at just over 29. Rice can't make it 3 in a row. And Michael has it. Harper slices through. Misses the runner. Tip try by Rodman and a whistle. The foul is on Wesley, his third.
Come on, Harper, get the game.
Bulls ball from the side. Divac will let Rodman shoot it if he wants it, which he doesn't. Pippen now on the run and hacked by Phils.
Well, temper's starting to flare. I think Scottie Pippen got a technical foul after the play. Bobby Phils fouled him going to the basket, and then Scottie Pippen said something to the official to get the technical foul.
Yeah, I think he turned to Billy Oates and said, why didn't you call the foul? You're standing here on the baseline. Billy Oates didn't like what he said, so he teed him up.
And Rice, an 85% free throw shooter, hits the technical.
Bob, this has been a strange game. It's like there's no rhythm or flow to this game at all. It's two teams sort of trying to figure each other out in the first game of a series. And when it comes down to it, you see Charlotte's got 43 points on the board. They're going to have to find a way, and there's Dave Cowens, to create some offense. And I think you have to do that with some early transition, but you can't turn the ball over. That's really hurt them today.
And Chicago, as you saw on a graphic a moment ago, has converted many of those turnovers into points. Meanwhile, Charlotte has missed a lot of open perimeter jumpers. They're getting good looks, and they're not hitting a high enough percentage of them. Charlotte, which once led by 15, now trails by 5. Wesley can't cut into it. Rebound, Harper. Kukoc. Pippen for 3. Long rebound to Wesley. Poked away from him from behind by Jordan.
What David Wesley has to do right now with his team struggling a little bit offensively, he has to try to penetrate, break the defensive down, and try to get some easy opportunity looks for Anthony Mason or Vlade Divac.
Mason guarded by Rodman, then Kukoc comes over to help. Mason dishes it back outside to Rice. It appeared for a moment that he was finding the range, but he's missed his last couple. But he steps in here defensively and picks off the entry pass. Wesley in and out for him.
Wow. If Charlotte loses this basketball game, they're going to go back and watch the film and kick themselves because they've missed so many opportunities with Chicago not making shots right now.
And you're talking about Charlotte's one of the best shooting teams in the NBA. In every facet, I'm talking about free throw, field goal, 3-point.
Michael's 3 is long. Divac clears it. Outlet to Wesley. Pushing it up the floor. Bobby Phils. Can't hit the jump shot.
But see, that's their best offense. Push the ball up and get an easy one. Get an easy look before the Bulls defense gets set.
Chicago has given Charlotte an open invitation to seize this game. Rodman. He's entitled to 1 or 2 of those a game. That's 1 by my count. Timeout, Hornets. They're in the game, but you can't escape the sense that they should be leading it instead of trailing by 5.
Miller Genuine Draft presents even more basketball.
Now, Michael Jordan got off to a slow start. He was testing his jump shot, missed the first one, then came back, missed the second one. Then off a long rebound, he got his feet together and hit the 3. Said, my J's not working, I'll start taking it to the basket. The 3-point play right there. Michael Jordan understanding how to score. Had a bad start in the beginning, but since then, he's really picked it up. And you see, he's 6 of 12 right now, and he's starting to pour it on.
And in recognition of this look inside the game, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Here's Mason. They work it around to Wesley. 3 seconds to shoot. Mason to the baseline drive. And a foul.
Bob, Charlotte is a very simple team. They go to their strengths, and they go inside to Anthony Mason. And he's going to spin here. And as the shot clock is winding down, they call the foul. But what you've got to do against Chicago, you can't just stand on the perimeter and watch a guy post up and get double teamed. Chicago is too good at helping and recovering. You've got to get some movement. So I think if Dave Cowens, once he looked at this film, said, you know what, we can get those shots, but we got to get some cutters and get some movement.
Mason has to get involved in this basketball game. His scoring is up over the last 5 seasons. He's playing extremely well in the playoffs. But right now, he has only 3 field goal attempts. He's got to find a way to get involved in this basketball game. He's trying to take Dennis Rodman off the dribble. He's not quick enough to really do that. He's going to have to bag him down and use his strength.
After the Longley foul, Mason misses both free throws. Still Chicago by 5. Jordan makes it 7. He has 24 tonight.
See, everybody else in this game is struggling, and Michael Jordan is just taking his team right now and lifting it, and that's why they're winning this game.
Another Charlotte turnover. Here's Michael all the way. Longley is there. Michael has it back. Double team. So they bring it back out top. Now Pippen. Around Divac.
See again the confidence in taking the ball to the basket. No shot blockers for the Charlotte Hornets. You see Jordan roll in for an easy layup. Then Scottie Pippen the next time attack the basket for an easy lay-in.
Scottie's bucket here gives the Bulls a 9-point lead after they once trailed by 15.
Well, twice we've seen Isaiah where Vlade has switched out on Scottie, and Scottie's just used his quickness and taken the ball right around him and got an easy layup. Scottie has not shot the ball well from the perimeter. He was only 3 for 9 in the first half, but now you're giving him a couple layups, and he's 6 for 13. That's how guys find ways to score when their jump shots aren't going.
That's what the smart players and the smart teams understand. When they're struggling offensively as they were in the first quarter, they find ways to manufacture points, to manufacture their way to get into the game, whether it be driving to the basket or getting to the free throw line.
The old saying is opportunity knocks but once. That's particularly true if you're talking about against Chicago on their home floor. The Bulls gave Charlotte a golden opportunity. They opened the door and Charlotte just couldn't barge through it, it appears. After the timeout, it's Rice. Missing, but he was fouled.
Well, to give you a little idea of what Charlotte did, you talk about it, Bob. 10 for 18 in that first quarter. Got off to a great start. They were up 23-15. Since that point in time, they've scored 20 points, and they're 5 for 24 from the field. You mix that in with the turnovers, it's no wonder they're down 9. They're very fortunate not to be down about 20.
And at the risk of being repetitive, it isn't because they've been smothered by Chicago's defense. The Bulls always play good defense. But Charlotte has gotten more good looks than you might have expected, and they simply haven't converted them.
You know what I think happens also, too? When you're playing against the best, those shots that you make against the average teams, they're a little tougher. Even though they're the same shots, you start thinking, this is the Bulls, this is the Bulls. And you give them that championship edge that you don't give to the other teams.
Rice with 13 after the free throws. Jordan behind the back against Phil, spinning, showing him everything. And he's fouled. He'll shoot 2. Had a chance for the three-point play, but it wouldn't go.
How about Michael Jordan right there? He wanted it inside on the post, didn't like his position, shook his head, and then he came out and caught it on the perimeter, put it on the floor, trying to get to the basket. Once Fields to move his feet to try to guard him, gets fouled in the act of shooting. Again, he's on the free throw line, manufacturing points.
Bobby Fields did everything except he reached in at the last moment.
One more from Michael. Tonight on Dateline after the game, O.J. Simpson's latest interview with the BBC made headlines. Now for the first time on American TV, you can see the whole thing. in a Dateline exclusive. That's tonight on NBC. .26 for Michael. Divac double teamed by Longley and Harper. Rice between two defenders, missing on the run. Pippen accelerates into the lane, and he's fouled.
How about the way Rodman tied up Mason underneath the basket so he couldn't come out and help on the penetration of Scottie Pippen? Rodman streaked down the court and tied up Mason, got him underneath the basket, and Scottie came in for an easy lay-in, and that's what Mason is complaining to Billy Oates about right now.
That's 4 on David Wesley. B.J. Armstrong up off the Hornet bench. Wesley will have to sit. J.R. Reed is also going to come in. And Divac heads for the bench. Pippen ups the lead to 11. Chicago with backcourt pressure.
Now what Charlotte has to do right here is get the ball in Curry's hands for the three-point shot. He missed it right there, but there was the right approach.
B.J. Armstrong had an open 20-footer, but decided not to take it.
Can't be afraid to pull the trigger right now. You got to take your open shots and keep scoring.
Or start scoring in Charlotte's case. Long drought for them. B.J. will unleash this one, and he will hit it.
Now you got
Longley and J.R. Reed are at each other. Anthony Mason, strong as any bull. In or out of uniform, moves in and shoves Longley away.
See, Billy Oakes recognizing J.R. Reed is a guy through his career who's had some of these situations, and he may be agitating a spot. And Luke Longley's a guy that's not going to back down now, Isaiah. I've seen him in a couple situations. That's a big, strong guy. Watch now underneath the basket, Longley and J.R. Reed. See, J.R. had him wrapped up there, and Luke did not like that at all.
A double technical will be called on Longley and Reed.
He's got 24 games worth of energy pent up inside of him. J.R. Reed's got to remember that he hasn't played.
3:06 to play in the third. You're watching the NBA on NBC. Michael Jordan appearing to soar over treetops. And who'd put it past him? Randy Brown back in the lineup now after the timeout. This is Randy bringing the dribble out of the backcourt. Michael around the Rodman screen and fouled.
They're so afraid of Michael Jordan getting to the middle of the court. He's beat Dale Curry and Bobby Fields 3 consecutive times with the foot fake to the right, pretending that he's going to the middle and driving baseline.
Well, that big guy who's setting the screen, though, defensively, if they're going to push him down that way, he's got to step down there. They got to funnel him into a trap. They're giving him a clear path to the basket, and then it's too late. They're having to foul him. So, Isaiah, they got to communicate here what they want to do on this screen and roll.
I think that guard's supposed to bring him to the screen, not force him baseline, but he's going for the fake that Jordan is giving him.
Michael approaching his playoff average, has 27 now. And can't add to it that time. Chicago by 10. Mason. Rodman doing his customary good job on him. Mason with a wild shot that's no good. And it's out of bounds to Chicago.
See, Mason backed Rodman down and tried to repost. He kicked it out and thought he would get better position, but Rodman forced him off the block and knocked him out of position again.
It's not just tonight. Generally, Dennis has done a good job on Mace.
Mason's averaging 7.5 points a game against him in the regular season. Rice 17.5, shooting under 40%. Bob, this one I want to talk about in terms of Charlotte's offense. This plays into the hand of the Bulls. Now watch how they throw the ball into the post, and there is no movement. Everybody just sort of standing, and you force a bad shot. That time the Bulls did not double team, but even on the double teams, what's happened is the Bulls know where to recover, and they're quick enough and they're athletic enough to get to shooters, and really Charlotte has got to find a way to get some motion.
Foul was on B.J. Armstrong. Kukoc missed the first one. But not the second. Rice, who has hit just 2 of his last 10 field goal attempts. Into Reed, who was held by Kukoc. That's 4 on Tony, which brings Simpkins off the Chicago bench.
Now, an interesting matchup as they've gone to the bench. Both Scotty and Michael sitting. I very seldom have seen this where Phil has rested both of these guys at the same time. That puts Kukoc on Glenn Rice. Let's see if he can shake him here.
Armstrong all the way to the hoop with the left hand, but it spills out. Mason tips it to Rice, who throws up a wild bank shot, and now the ball out of bounds to Chicago.
See, Mason has to snatch that rebound, go up strong, and put it in the basket himself so he can get in the game.
Mason is now just 1 of 4, while Rice is 5 of 17. So Kukoc with the 4 foul stays in the game. Pippen and Jordan out as Simpkins and Kerr come in.
Now, if you're Charlotte, this is your time to attack. This is where you got to create some points on transition right now.
A Chicago turnover.
Again, whoever Kerr is guarding, they're going to try to go at him and force him out of the game. This time, Del Curry misses the little jumper.
They're getting a whole lot of what they want. They're just not succeeding with it. Speaking of the Hornets. Kerr from Simpkins. Misses it long, up and over the glass, out of bounds to Charlotte. Kerr has not had an especially good shooting night by his standards. He hit his first 3-point attempt and nothing since.
When you look at who's on the floor for the Bulls right now, you see they're struggling trying to get points from their bench. This is why Charlotte really has to take advantage here.
Reed all alone, and he misses off the baseline. Mason crashes the boards, and there's a foul.
They're getting exceptionally good looks. You couldn't ask for a better shot than the one they just took, and they're just going in and out of the basket right now.
Foul on Simpkins is his second. Next weekend, the playoffs continue on NBC. We begin Saturday with Showtime at 12:30 Eastern, then a doubleheader. Game 3 of the Pacers and Knicks. Game 3 of the Jazz and the Spurs. Sunday, a tripleheader begins with Showtime at noon, then Game 4 of the Pacers and Knicks from Madison Square Garden. Game 4 of the Sonics and Lakers from the Forum in LA. That's followed by Game 4 of the Bulls and the Hornets from Charlotte. Monday night on TNT, the Lakers and the Sonics begin from Key Arena, 9 Eastern Time. 1 of 2 for Mason. Two seconds to shoot, so Simpkins has to. And he may have been fouled, which is a gift. Dave Cowan's just holding his head across the way. When Dickie Simpkins has to take that to beat the shot clock, fouling him is just a gift.
Yes, it is, and Glenn Rice got him right on his elbow. Shot clock's running down. You don't want to foul Dickie Simpkins. Glenn Rice jumps out, knows he made a bad foul, puts Simpkins right on the line again.
Which hasn't hurt them yet.
Remember now, in Game 3 in Atlanta, after Charlotte had built a 2-0 advantage, they got beat 96-64, then came back and won Game 4. So they also had one of these offensive showings against Atlanta in Game 3.
He missed them both. Still a 10-point game. Burrell kicked it away from Armstrong. 4.1 on the clock. Hornet ball. They have hit 6 of 30 from the field in the last 2 quarters. 6 of 30. Curry beats the buzzer. And that's the way the third quarter ends. The Hornets scored 23 points in the first period. 25 since then in the second and third combined. We'll be back after these words from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC. Although Charlotte did win 3 of 4 from Atlanta in round 1, the one game they lost was a 96-64 embarrassment. Those 64 points matched the lowest output by a team ever in the NBA playoffs. They have only 48 through 3 quarters here. Divac makes it 50 by hitting from the head of the key. Portland was held to 64 by Utah in the playoffs 2 years ago, and then last year the Magic were held to 64 by the Heat.
Well, Vlade Divac hits the jump shot, then a loose ball foul underneath the basket on Dickie Simpkins, so J.R. Reed will try to finish off the three-point play. And if they can do that, Bob, through all this, the fact that Chicago's only shooting 38% in this game, it's still a 7-point game. It's a little bit what we saw yesterday with Seattle and Minnesota when Garnett and Marbury were struggling, and it was a 5-point game with 6 minutes to go.
There is some putrid shooting.
And neither team is shooting the ball well. However, Chicago understands how to get to the free throw line and manufacture points.
The Bulls' lead is 7. Jordan over Curry, missed it. And a rebounding foul against Chicago.
I think they're going to call that on J.R. Reed. He pointed the wrong way. I think they're going to be staying here. He said number 7.
You're right. They started walking the other way, and then they corrected it.
Abdel Curry is guarding Michael Jordan again. Let's see if Jordan tries to take him. Every time Curry has been matched up against Jordan, he's tried to take him to the basket or shoot the J.
Here's Burrell driving baseline, dishing it back out, but it's picked off by B.J. Armstrong. Charlotte with numbers. Armstrong to Rice, who hits the layup. And it's a 5-point game. Phil Jackson doesn't want to give them even a whisper of a chance to get a run going here. He asks for time. Less than a minute gone by in the fourth quarter.
Well, we talked about Glenn Rice. This will be the easiest basket he has gotten so far today. We said he would be facing a myriad of defenders from the Bulls, and this is what he's done today. Tony Kukoc, Jordan Pippen, Burrell have all had their shots at him.
After the Chicago timeout, their lead trimmed to 5. It's Kerr who brings it to the front court. Jordan lost it. Bill Oakes looks at Greg Willard. He couldn't see, and Willard says, give the ball to the Hornets.
So this is sort of amazing. Charlotte has a club record low 10 points in the third quarter, playoff low. They're already within 5 here with 10.5 to go. Amazing.
Curry against Kerr. Here's Armstrong retrieving the dribble. The shot clock's going to run out, and there's the violation.
They tried to post Dale Curry in the low post. He couldn't back down Steve Kerr. Curry has to get lower in the post, so when they punch it inside, he can just turn around and shoot. Put BJ in a very difficult position there.
Michael to the hoop. He was fouled, and it could have been a 3-point play.
Jordan had a running start at Curry, faked him left, came back right. Watch as he fakes him left. Curry goes hard for the fake, falls, and Jordan floats to the basket. 2 more free throws at the line. Look at the fake. See, when you guard Michael Jordan, you have to honor every single fake because his game is so complete. He can go left, he can go right, he can shoot it, he can take you inside. So when he fakes, you have to honor every fake that he gives you.
He has 29, and the lead is 7. For the year, Michael averaged just under 29 in winning his 10th scoring title by a slim margin over Shaquille O'Neal. Divac from Curry. Back out to Rice for 3, and it's short. Longley has it wrested away by Divac, and a jump ball coming.
You can see Luke Longley has been out. He's rusty. He's sort of a step behind, but this is very important for Chicago that he gets a chance to play in this game. Because you talked about before, Bob, if they're able to win this series and maybe face an Indiana in the next round, they are going to need him against the Rick Smiths.
Curry eventually controls the tip. Then Divac loses it to Longley. Michael comes back. Around Curry.
Well, I don't like that matchup, Del Curry on Michael Jordan.
I don't think Del Curry likes it much either.
Well, he gave him the same fake, and he bit on it again. He gave him the left fake and came back right, and Del Curry bit on the same fake. Jordan has a full head of steam under turnover. He knocks it out of Vlade's hand, and now he has a full head of steam coming at Del Curry. He'll give him the left fake, a hard, boom, there it is. Curry goes for it, floats to the hole for the easy lay-in again.
Michael has exactly half of Chicago's 62 points.
And when you look at Michael Jordan, you see he had 18 points in the first half. He's got 13 now, but the most important thing, he's 10 of 12 from the free throw line.
Divac with the reverse. And Charlotte is within 7.
Michael still being guarded by Del Curry.
Divac coming over to help.
So he's telling Longley, get out of the way.
Now it's Kerr. Back to Michael. 2 seconds to shoot. It's a 3. And no.
See, with Wesley in the game now, he has to up the tempo. He's got to push it up court and try to score in transition. It's going to be very difficult to score against Chicago playing 5-on-5. You got to get some number situations.
Shot clock down to 4. It's Curry who can't nail the 3. It was wide open. They'll get another chance. Rice misses the leaner. And Jordan pulls in another rebound. Rice is 6 of 20 in this game.
It's going to be a long film session for the Charlotte Hornets tomorrow.
Pippen. The 3 pops in and out. Wesley has it for the Hornets. Here's Curry against Kerr. He bumps him off, and the foul is on Curry.
I tell you, Steve Kerr's doing a great job, Bob. But, you know, they're trying to go at him, and he says, look, I'm not going to be run out of this game. His defense has been solid, and Charlotte has sort of gotten a little bit out of sync by trying to expose that.
A litany of woeful shooting stats for the Hornets. Here's another one. Curry is 1 for 7. One of the game's best open shooters. Here's Pippen off the Longley pass. Good feed by Luke. Pippen fouled. He comes to the line.
Now, Curry has had his problems defensively. You see, every time that Curry has guarded Jordan, it's 4 for 6, got 12 points on him. So they take Curry out of the game, and they bring in Bobby Fields. And what does Chicago do? They exploit the mismatch now with Scottie Pippen being guarded by Glenn Rice.
Well, Del Curry has got to be at this point with this series. He's got to be a guy that's got to be instant offense because you know that they're going to go at him defensively. So he's going to be a guy that Dave Cowens is going to have to be able to try to get some points for off the bench. As we see, only 55 points by the Charlotte Hornets. We got 7 minutes and 20-something seconds to play.
But the thing I like about Del Curry from playing against him all those years is that he'll come back and he'll light you up.
Here is Rice again. He hits that one, which brings him to 33% for the game on 7 of 21. Just as an example, he made 15 of 19 in the first game of the series against Atlanta. He can win a game all by himself. Here's Pippen. Hits the fadeaway jumper.
What beautiful footwork by Scotty on that little pinch post.
He has 20.
How about the intelligence of the Bulls to exploit the mismatches every time they're on the court?
Rice now with a 3.
Well, he has the capability of really getting hot, so Scotty's going to have to identify him and make everything very difficult now the last 6.5 minutes.
Kerr left alone. Drills the 3. And the Bulls go back up by 9. Rice has hit a couple in a row. Five seconds to shoot. It's Phils. Short with the 3, and Rodman is up on the glass.
See, Blolly passed up an easy layup. He had a chance to score it, and he passed it out. You know, when you got the ball inside like that, you have to score.
Kerr, good look. Spins out. Wesley pulls up and misses long. The rebound bounces to Reed, and they'll set it up. Meanwhile, where is Anthony Mason? He's scored but 6, and he's a spectator right now. Foul on the rebound.
See, that's a tough shot by Glenn Rice. Anytime you have the defender running at you, as he did in the first half, he would give Scotty the pump fake. Now he's coming off and just launching.
Here comes the answer. Here comes Mason.
Are you coaching now? You're going to bring the substitution in?
I try to help out where I can. Mason for Reed. Wesley with Kerr on it. Divac backing in. Can't hit it. Saves it back. And Wesley can't put the 3 down. He's had a couple go in and out on him in the last couple of minutes. Michael from Pippen. Left hand. Oh, yeah.
The ability to use your right hand and your left hand around the basket makes you so effective, makes it virtually impossible to stop.
33 for Michael.
This is the Bulls' little pinch post play they run. You overplay the pass at the top, the beautiful backdoor, and Michael hanging with the left hand. And when you're the best, you get the bounce.
What was it John Calipari, the Nets coach, said about him? It's like playing blackjack against the dealer. You already know he's better than you are, and he wins all pushes and ties. And in this case, he gets the roll. Chris, thanks a lot. The crowd ignited by this latest outburst from Michael Jordan. This is the loudest they've been the entire game. And there's a foul before Rice can take the shot, and it's on Charlotte.
Vlade Divac with a moving screen, and that was called because Phil Jackson complained the last time that Glenn Rice came off that screen. That time he got the call.
Pippen takes a handoff from Longley. Now it's Michael, who scored 33. Tries the reverse, doesn't get the hoop, but does draw the foul.
How about Jordan right there, seeing Vlade coming to the middle and then spin to the baseline. This is where he's so effective, coming to the basket. No shot blockers for the Charlotte Hornets. He comes in on Vlade, says, I'm giving you right. No, I'm taking it left. Jordan getting all the rows, and again, on the free throw line.
Against New Jersey, he scored 39, 32, and then 38. The jumper was really there in game 3 when he hit 16 of 22. He shot under 50% in the first 2 games, but took the ball to the hole often enough to draw the fouls and get his points at the line. He adds 2 from the stripe here, and he has 35.
Bob, I think you made a great point, too, in our showtime. You said the Bulls have only taken 1 flight in the last 16 days. That really helps guys like Michael and Scotty, these guys, Dennis Rodman, who played a lot of games over the last 6 or 7 seasons.
Mason trying to muscle with Rodman, and this time they'll call it on Dennis. You know, Dennis Rodman missed Friday's Bulls practice because he had to appear in court. Why, you ask? He was a character witness for one of his personal assistants. That ought to cinch the case right there. Here's Wesley. Mason spins on Rodman and misses. And may have fouled him over the back going for the rebound. Perhaps not. Let's see. Yep, that's it. It's on Mason trying to follow his own shot.
Now watch Dennis Rodman battle inside. He gives you different looks. Is he on the right side? Is he on the left side? I'll give you the little elbow. Now Mason spins baseline. Now watch as he blocks out. Gets Mason on his back. Now he's marching to the free throw line. The little things, the fundamentals of the game, is what makes Dennis Rodman a successful rebounder and a great defender.
Well, you know, when you talk about the Chicago Bulls and their great defense, they took a poll of the NBA players this year. They voted Michael Jordan the best defender at his position, Scottie Pippen the best defender at his position, and Dennis Rodman the best defender at his position. So what happens is now you go into a game and they say we're going to take out your 2 guard, your small forward, and your power forward out of the game. Now how are you going to score to beat us? Charlotte has 60 points.
1 of 2 for Rodman, right around his usual free throw percentage. And Glenn Rice has 22 points now.
He has a beautiful jump shot. I tell you, if you want a textbook and break it down, his release is magnificent.
Chicago by a dozen. Hard to believe that Charlotte once led by 15. It's Pippen exploding to the hoop and give him the free throw on top of it.
Isaiah, there's that same play once again. It's a swing screen roll. They're forcing it middle, but the guard is trying to beat the screen there. Watch Glenn Rice jump to the screen. The big man is going to help middle, and they've turned the corner. They've got to get their communication together. Are you going to force middle? If so, the big man will be there. Baseline, he'll drop and help you baseline.
And that guarding the screen and roll has to bring him to the screen. Can't let him go baseline. But when you guard Pippen or Jordan, you have to honor all your fakes.
Divac from Wesley was fouled, and now Rodman and Divac jawing at one another.
Now Rodman understands that he's going to see Vlade Divac possibly 6 more times. So he's trying to get into his head and establish that every time you see me, this is the night you're going to have.
That was a technical on Rodman.
Last year in the playoffs, Rodman drew at least 1 technical in the first 13 postseason games the Bulls played. 16 of them in those 13 games with 3 ejections. This is the first time he's been teed up in 4 playoff games this year. He's really been a different guy in terms of his behavior. Not that he's a model citizen, but relatively speaking, he's been more in control than in the last couple of years.
When I played with Dennis Rodman in Detroit, when he first came into the league, he was just as thin as a Tony Kukoc or a Scottie Pippen. Spent a lot of time working on his body, and he's really a beefed-up small forward. Rodman used to play small forward in Detroit. Now he's playing power forward and also a little center.
Well, he'll go in after the game after playing 45 minutes and ride the exercise bike for 2 hours. I mean, he's a fitness maniac.
Dennis with the personal and the technical. Charlotte converts 2 of the 3 opportunities. Michael with the jumper. Kukoc tries to chase it down and can't. Chicago by 13 with 2:41 left. Rice from Wesley. Alina is short. One thing about Rice, as is the case with all great shooters, just because he's cold doesn't mean he stops hoisting them up. Pippen got it. And he has 25, almost overlooked with the 35-point outburst from Michael. A 30-point turnaround. They trailed by 15. They lead by 15. That pretty much sums it up right there.
Bob, when you talk about Jordan and Pippen, that's what you call franchise players.
Maybe at the end of their run with this franchise, which would be regrettable. Rice bumped by Kukoc, who fouled him. That's 5 on Tony.
We talked about at the top of the game in the wins, Glenn Rice is shooting 51%, and the losses 37% today. He's 9 for 25, 36%. So this is sort of goes hand in hand with Charlotte goes as Glenn Rice goes shooting the basketball.
So even though he now has 25 points, in truth, he's had a poor game. And they got almost nothing from Mason, just 6. Kerr. Kukoc. Last minute and a half. Rodman is allowed to take the 20-footer. And Jordan has the rebound. He's in double figures in rebounds as well. That's his 10th.
Jordan has had his way with the Charlotte Hornets again tonight. They're going to have to find some way to contain him or stop him.
Missing that one. Phils comes back to Wesley. Quick jumper, good.
Well, I say if Michael is going to have big numbers against Charlotte, then they're going to have to really lock in on the other guys. They can't let Scotty also have 30, where now you get 2 guys combined with 65 or 70 points. You know, it's one thing to say we're going to let Michael go and shut everybody else down, but you can't let then Scotty get his also.
In talking to Dave Cowens, he told us earlier that he may use this game just to see what happens. Wasn't that a beautiful dish by Jordan?
Behind the back to Rodman, who gets the lay-in. He has 7 off the Michael assist.
Those two play so well together.
And they've left Pippen, Rodman, and Jordan on the floor right to the end of a game they have safely tucked away. 81-70.
I think Phil Jackson is trying to establish their rhythm, trying to get them to lay off in the first quarter, in the first half really hurt them. And he wanted them to get court time and get competitive time out on the floor.
Again, Charlotte, in the next couple days, Bob has got to find a way to create some offense. 96 points in the regular season. They have 70 today.
How about the pass again by Dennis Rodman?
Kukoc gets in on the act just before the game ends. Dave Cowan's team had a shot at it. In fact, they were controlling the flow of the game in the first quarter, but it's Phil Jackson who's smiling at game's end. His team now 4-0 in this year's playoffs. Let's go to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. Michael, a strange game, down by as many as 15 points. Finally, you find some rhythm and able to put this game away.
Well, you got to give Charlotte credit. I mean, they've been playing. So they came in with a lot more intensity than we did at the beginning of the game. We've been sitting out for a couple of days. It took us a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half to get ourselves back in the rhythm them. And once we got in the rhythm, we kind of wore them down. You can tell they were a little bit fatigued. Mason really looked tired after a big game he had against Atlanta. So, you know, we kind of kept the pressure on them, and they missed some big shots on the outside. So they got 2 days in between games. Expect them to come back with a lot more intensity.
Before the game, you told me that you're a little leery of this team because you guys really weren't that familiar with them.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't really been healthy all season long. I haven't had a chance to go against Fields as often during the course of the season, and you know, right now they're still not healthy with Geiger out. But you know, we got our team back now, so you know, it's a matter of just going out and get a feel for this team and you know, taking advantage in the series.
After a game like this, you must feel a little bit more confident in this series.
Well, I think we got a better feel than coming into the game. I think we're going to go back and look at the films and see where we have to make adjustments and how we have to continue to improve as a team. You know they're going to make adjustments after 2 days. So, I mean, we have to be prepared for that.
All right. Congratulations on a good game. We will see you next Sunday. All right. Back over to you, Bob.
Maybe Ahmad knows the playoff schedule better than Michael does. We know for sure that game 2 of this series is here on Wednesday night. And what will Dave Cowens be talking about, thinking about, preparing his team for in the interim?
Again, Bob, we said to start the game, when you play Chicago, you've got to find a way to create some offense. And, you know, you can't score in the 80s into a half-court game because they're going to beat you at that. They're a better half-court team. And so what they're going to have to do is find a way to make those shots, number one, but to get some movement, some motion to get Chicago active.
And I think Chicago will just do the same thing, and it would be business as usual. They came out with the approach that they just wanted to win one game. Now they go into game 2.
So the final score from Chicago, the Bulls 83, the Hornets 70 for Isaiah Thomas, Doug Collins, and of course Ahmad Rashad. I'm Bob Costas. We're going to go now to Hannah Storm in our New York studios. See you next weekend. Good night from Chicago.